Hello, universe. This is Rene Benton on Leaf Power Radio, and this is my song, Love is Pain. Hey, this is Rene Benton here to bring you various blends of instrumental music and additionally provide you with interesting history lessons about myself here and only here on Leaf Power TV. Thanks for watching. Musically, I know about composition, be it scalar or modal, single note composition, vocal arrangement, horn arrangement, string arrangement. I know some theory. I know essentially arrangement. Probably one of my strong suits musically is arranging, taking a certain song and rearranging it in a different type of way that no one would probably think of doing. Through listening to records and some schooling, and when I say some schooling is that I didn't want to take guitar lessons because at the time I thought it would ruin my vibe, and it probably would have. And I lived right across the, literally not across the street, across the alleyway from a literal music studio. They taught piano, vocals, and guitar. The gentleman's name was Frank. I'll never forget Frank. And my mom and dad, literally, I'm talking walking, go out the back door, walk across the alley, which is no more than 5, maybe 10 feet wide. And right there, and I didn't do it because I always thought that I said, okay, if they formally trained me this, I'm not going to be cool anymore because if I knew what cool was. So that's essentially it. So in junior high and high school, junior high is when I started to try to learn how to read music. And interestingly enough, I wasn't doing it on guitar. I did it on the bass drum. The big boom, boom, boom. And because I said, if I'm going to learn how to read music, I'm going to start here. Should have kept going, but I didn't. And then I got in high school and I took a music appreciation class, some music theory a little later on. And again, when you're at a certain age, you just don't take things as seriously as you should, but it all comes full circle. And a lot of it, outside of school, it just came through listening to different genres of music. That's what did it for me. It took me to a different place, and listening to the radio and trying to learn songs on the radio from different genres. That was my crash course in music theory. I didn't know it at the time, but that's essentially what it was. As far as discovery goes, I realize that music is a practice. You're never going to know everything. You're never going to learn anything. That's impossible. It's a practice. The practice of music is like the practice of being a doctor or a dentist. It's constant. Even when you're not trying to learn, you learn. That's probably the biggest takeaway or biggest discovery I ever made. Self-awareness for sure. I've been considered, I guess, metal, more metal than rock, which the irony of all of that is I didn't grow up listening to rock. Nope, not at all. And when I say that, as in I didn't go out and get a rock record. I didn't go out and get a rock record. The rock that I got exposed to, if it wasn't on the radio, I never heard it. If it wasn't on Midnight Special, I never heard it. If it wasn't on American Bandstand, I never heard it. If it weren't on Don Kirshner's rock concert, I never heard it. So whomever it was, you had to come through those paths because essentially I'm a funk and R&B guy. I came up doing that. I only have one rock guitar influence. I've been inspired by many, but that's probably the one thing that makes people shake their heads or going, wait a minute, you didn't grow up listening to this? No, I didn't. It was just an organic growth. I started composing music and recording, and what I heard in my head and where it ended up were two different places, and that's how I got into the metal genre, simply by not even trying. I didn't realize I was doing anything heavy until someone said, "Hey man, that's heavy." I was like, "Really? Oh, okay." So that's pretty much the metal genre, metal rock, but more metal than rock. I guess it's not just rock. Yeah. Interesting thing, since I don't have any quote-unquote rock guitar influences, my influences are George Benson, Roy Clark, Anthony Lockett, Charlie Singleton, Jesse Johnson. I know there's three people you never heard of in your life, and that's okay. Google them. And Tony McAlpine. Tony McAlpine is my only rock guitar influence. Again, there's a huge difference between influence and inspiration. I've been inspired by a whole bunch of people, but influence is when you want to walk like them, talk like them, dress like them, laugh like them. That's influence, and those guys I took from them. So when it comes to sound alike, I've heard, well, you sound kind of like McAlpine. That would make sense. But then they'll listen to something else and they'll say, well, it sounds kind of jazzy, kind of avant-garde. I'm not trying. Trust me when I say I'm not trying to sound like anyone except myself. But it's impossible to escape your influences, right? And so I would say kind of a combination of, I sound like the people I mentioned in different times, but you have to listen closely, because you'll hear sprinkles of country in there, because Roy Clark's one of my influences because he was the only guitar player that was on TV all the time, and he was always smiling, and he had a wonderful sense of humor, and I have a decent sense of humor. But I realize I smile when I'm thinking or I'm nervous when I'm playing. I discovered, I said, why am I smiling so hard? Wow, showing all my teeth there. So that's essentially what the story is for me, as far as the sound like goes. That's a tough one, because I'm not trying, but that's where it goes. So I like these new driverless cars that they have. I think Uber has driverless cars. That's who I would want to be my limo driver, because when I'm trying to get someplace, I'm not a nice guy, but I'm a very considerate guy. And so sometimes considerate folks don't like to talk to people. And so if I had to choose a limo driver, it would be the electric one, the one that is not even there. That would probably be me. Not that I'm antisocial per se, but that's probably the direction I would go if I had to say a limo driver. So I toured up to, say, 10 months out of a fiscal year, and not solely on my own. A lot of it, a majority of it comes to me backing up various people. So concerts, this could be a twofold question. So when I'm backing up somebody who's had a certain level of fame or success, and things can be pretty posh, right? Everything from your luggage allowance to where you stay, to how you eat, to what you get to wear on stage. So it can be pretty posh, depending on the artist. Then the reality, when I have to do my thing, which that's when it gets interesting, because it's not as glamorous. You go from that tour bus to that van, you go from flying American to Southwest. It changes drastically, but it's very rewarding to do you, so to speak. So I'll take that. You have to take both sides of it. At least for me, it's good on both ends. One end is just a little, like I said, a little more glamorous. Warm-up wise, I try and warm up for at least an hour. If I don't warm up for an hour, I don't really. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable. Let me grab something. Just happen to have a guitar standing up here. So, I do it in 15-minute increments. So I'll do something modal where I'll start here. Then descend, ascend, descend, ascend, descend, ascend, and descend. And go all the way back down. So that's just running the mode, starting Ionian and then on local end. Hold on. So and so I'll do that for 15 minutes. Then I do something chromatic for 15 minutes. Then I'll do half step, full step for 15 minutes, and then full step for 15 minutes. Usually around that time I feel fairly confident. And then I do some chordal work, and then I just go and try and give it all I can. As a guitar player, any instrumentalist, I think warming up is important. That's how you avoid injuries. And you need to look at yourself as an athlete, and not just a guitar player, right? Not just a guitar player. I'm big on taking care of my hands, taking care of my body, taking care of my skin, taking care of my fingernails, feet. You gotta have good feet. Take care of your feet. Take care of your eyes. Take care of your eyes. Take care of you, because you are the only you have. So I'm big on that. There's not a lot of Rene Bentons out there, so I'm pretty easy to find. You put in Rene Benton guitars. Some of the places that I hang out on is, of course, Facebook. Find me there. Instagram, you can find me there. I'm not TikToking just yet, but my website, renebenton.net. Right now, it's being renovated because of this new release that's coming out. And that's where you go for exclusive things. In other words, that's where you see the record that I recorded. It's what is entitled "To Live in Omaha, Live in Omaha," and it's I recorded the audio and the video, and essentially to see the video, you have to go to renebenton.net. Audio, it'll be at various places, but to see the video, there's only one place to see it, unless it gets pirated or something. People do that. But that's essentially it. Those are the good places to find me. I think if you, like I said, just Google a little bit, you'll see me around, hanging out, probably asking you questions. Musically, I think I wanted to try and encompass a lot of different things. I wanted to do an audio thing. I wanted to do a video thing. I wanted to do an immersive audio thing. I wanted to do an interviewing people of the city that I'm from. Because it's been many years since I performed there. And so it's a very interesting musical and aural adventure, so to speak. I took on a lot of different angles, but doing the same thing. And so expect something slightly different musically. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm just trying to keep the wheel rolling, so to speak. And just give it a shot, give it a listen. And nothing is better than song. I don't know if I should be saying that, but nothing is better than song. Very few musicians are remembered for their chops. More musicians are remembered for where they put the chops at. That's really what it comes down to. And song is king for me. Some people say chops are king. Song is king. Well, I don't want to keep yammering on. This has been your video feature of me, streamed by Leaf Pile TV. Go rake your leaves. Go rake them.
Have now become aware of Rene Benton's magnificent styles, so make sure you see this over and over again. Groovy like the movie, baby.